Hi everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to be reviewing another program that I use. This one is called Calendar to Sheets. It's actually an application that allows you to take your Google Calendar or calendars and convert it into a spreadsheet with all the details. For a freelancer like me, it really has been a game changer. Now, I think this is because I tend to do training and I also tend to do multiple classes every single day, often for different clients. And in my case, I do find myself needing to provide schedule summaries in a spreadsheet format to these different clients. Well, for the longest time, I was manually typing out lists of classes and meetings, and it was a tedious, time-consuming process that felt like it should have a better solution. So the solution that I found is actually integrated with my Google Calendar. Now, with most of the clients that I work for, I'm using Outlook. I didn't find a solution in Outlook, and I do tend to send everything to my personal calendar in Google because I find that the ability to duplicate and drag just seems to work a little bit more easily for me. So I've decided when I do my scheduling that I will use my Google Calendar. So with that said, the time that it was taking me to transcribe the calendar view into a spreadsheet view was taking me so long that I decided that it was time to invest some time and energy into researching solutions to my problem. And that's when I found Calendar to Sheets, which is a tool that has genuinely transformed the way that I handled this reoccurring task. So when I started with Calendar to Sheets, I used their one-time free trial. I wanted to see if this was actually going to present my event information in a manner that I wanted to. And I was skeptical, but hopeful. And luckily, it was very intuitive and quick to use. Within minutes of using it, I realized that this is what I needed. So that one-time trial convinced me to purchase a monthly membership to see if I'd actually use it as regularly as I suspected in my workflow. Well, let me give you a little spoiler. I do use it frequently. In fact, even more frequently than I thought. So within that first month, I actually upgraded to the yearly plan because if you're like me, when you find a tool that saves you a significant amount of time on a task that you do frequently, the decision becomes easy. The annual subscription made financial sense, and I knew this wasn't a tool I'd stop needing anytime soon. And one side note is that I did find that the company handled my upgrade from month by month to yearly really well. It impressed me when I reached out to them to upgrade from monthly to yearly because I couldn't find the button in the application on their website itself. They offered to credit my monthly subscription payment towards the annual plan. Now, I know that's a small gesture and it's probably just good business practice, but it really did make a difference to me. It actually prompted me to deliver this post on it here today because I feel like it showed that they value their customer retention and wanted to make the upgrade path as frictionless as possible. And that kind of customer-friendly approach does go a long way, especially when you're deciding whether to commit to a long-term subscription. So here's the thing about being a freelance instructor with a complex schedule. Google Calendar is a pretty good tool for managing my day to day. I have my various calendars integrated into it. But what I like most is the ability to easily move calendar events around when classes shift and then duplicate existing events when I do end up with a recurring session. And it just helps me keep everything organized across multiple clients, which is obviously key when you're doing business like I do. But I also need to realize that when clients ask for a summary of our scheduled classes, or I need to submit invoices with session dates and other details, or when I want to analyze my teaching hours, that's where things were really getting messy. And if I put it in a spreadsheet view to start rather than in the calendar view, my mind just couldn't wrap around the spreadsheet. I needed to see the squares and see the times and see the breaks in between for it to be able to work for me. So now, instead of opening my calendar and manually typing each class into a spreadsheet with the date and the time and the client name and the class type, I can do this with just the click of a button from this tool. And with several classes per day across several clients, this is saving me, almost an hour each time that I do it. And it was mindless work previously. I was prone to me to make typos and just frankly a terrible use of my time. I needed something automated, and Calendar to Sheets delivers exactly that. The process is beautifully straightforward. As I mentioned, it connects to your Google Calendar and exports your events directly to Google Sheets. You can select specific Google calendars, which is essential when you have separate calendars for different clients, or you have a personal calendar and a business calendar, however you do it. You can also select your date range and customize which fields you want to export. I end up exporting the event title, description, location, attendees, and sometimes more if applicable. And it's literally just a short time and all of the calendar events appear in a nice spreadsheet format. So what used to take me half an hour to an hour, depending on the client, now takes, 2 to 3 minutes. Once it's in the spreadsheet, of course, I can sort and filter and present the data however my clients need it. So for someone juggling multiple schedules, this is invaluable. I can quickly generate a spreadsheet showing all the classes for client A in January, or compare my teaching hours across clients for the quarter. There's only one aspect of Calendar to Sheets that I wish worked differently, and that's that it exports the date and the time together in a single field. For my purposes, I often need those two fields separated, one date column and one time column. It just makes it easier for me to sort and analyze. Well, luckily, I've been able to find a relatively simple workaround. I can take the Calendar to Sheets view that it creates in Google Sheets and download the file into an Excel format. Then I can open it in Excel. And you may say, why are you doing this? Well, in my opinion, Google Sheets just isn't as robust as Excel for some of the data manipulations that I like to do. Plus, and this is a huge plus and time saver, I have a Microsoft 365 Copilot Premium subscription, which means I can use Copilot to instantly reformat the data for me with just one single prompt. So it makes it really easy. I just tell Copilot to split the date and time into separate columns, and it's done in seconds. So For me, this combination of calendar to sheets and then Excel with Copilot has created the perfect workflow for my needs. Calendar to Sheets offers a few pricing tiers. As I mentioned, you do have that one free trial to give you a taste of the functionality. You could determine if it fits your workflow, and then if you're still not ready to commit, you could join a monthly subscription and then upgrade to an annual subscription if you find that you are using it frequently like I am. Because obviously the annual plan offers better value if you are using it regularly. For me, the yearly subscription ended up being a no-brainer. When the tool saves me hours of manual work every month, it's a winner. It pays for itself many times over. The time I save on spreadsheet creation is time that I can spend time teaching, developing course materials, or honestly, just not doing tedious administrative work. So if you rely on Google Calendar and frequently need to share your schedule in spreadsheet format, Calendar to Sheets could be the solution for you. And I think that would be appropriate for freelancers who bill by the hour and need session summaries, consultants who track client meetings, teachers, online teachers who manage, or in-person teachers who manage class schedules across multiple schools or programs, anyone who needs to analyze their time allocation across projects, professionals who send schedule reports to clients or supervisors. Basically, if you've ever thought, I wish I could just export my calendar to a spreadsheet, this tool's for you. So in summary, Calendar to Sheets does one thing exceptionally well. It bridges the gap between Google Calendar and spreadsheet-based reporting. And for freelancers like me with complex multi-client schedules, it transforms a time-consuming manual task into a quick automated process. Yes, right now, the date-time formatting does require a small workaround, but that's really a minor inconvenience compared to the massive amount of time that the tool saves me overall. And again, I really appreciated the company's willingness to credit my monthly subscription toward the annual upgrade. It showed me that they're focused on customer satisfaction, not just extracting every dollar. So combined with Excel and Copilot, I've created a streamlined workflow that lets me focus on my actual work instead of administrative busy work. If you're spending time manually transcribing your calendar into spreadsheets, stop and try Calendar to Sheets. I feel like your future self will thank you. Thank you for listening. Please do like and subscribe. It would help this channel. I'd be very appreciative. Thank you and take care for now. See you next time. Bye-bye.